Guys, welcome back towards Illuminate 11 on this Wednesday. I hope you're having a lovely day and welcome if it is your first time checking out my channel. And if it is your first time checking out the channel, then please do hit the subscribe button. You are very welcome here. And if you are new to the channel, if you joined the channel in the last couple of days or so, a really warm welcome to you. Very glad to have you over on the channel. We are building a family here, and it is all about helping each other on this journey. It is not an easy journey, but it is about keeping each other strong and encouraging each other on this journey and helping each other to keep growing as well on this journey. So, if you have comments or questions in relation to the journey itself, then, do leave comments, and I do always go through all the comments or leave questions, and, I will answer your question. And if I am guided, as I did yesterday, there was a comment that was left in relation to the journey and I answered in a video. If I am guided, then I will answer that in a video as well. And also, if you go onto the channel page, there are quite a number of playlists as well on there, different playlists such as angel messages, messages in music, divine feminine sort of encouragement message. I've also started doing divine masculine messages once a week as well to encourage the divine masculines as well on their journey, because it is all about helping each other. We are all working together on this journey. So quite a number of playlists as well that you can go in there and see quite a number of videos and as well that will help you on your journey. And I also write a blog. So I've got a blog that's called World Illuminated Twin Flames and .love, and the details will be in the description box below. I started that in January, and that's really sort of writing a monthly post to do with the journey. So do check that out as well. And on that page, on the services page, you can contact me as well that way if you wanted a personal reading. And you can also see a review that was left by one of our soul sisters after I did a review, a personal reading for them. And or you can contact me via my email as well for personal readings. So it is all about helping each other on this journey for us to keep moving forward, because we are moving to a time of change, on our planet. This is why we're going through this whole journey of ascension, and, more and more people are awakening and, moving forward as well on their twin flame journey, because it is all about this change that is coming on our planet. And it is about us awakening so that we can be ready to then help others. We get to that point of having that, of understanding that unconditional love, of getting rid of the things that are holding us from away from unconditional love, so that we can then be able to lead others, and through our own lives as being examples to help others as well on their journey of ascension and then on their journey of life. So this is why we are going through all this on this journey, so that we can learn to get to that place of unconditional love and really be there to guide the rest of humanity. So what I'm going to do in this video, there was a question that was left by one of our soul family, and the question was really, it's like a question that I can't quite answer properly, because it sort of refers to, so I'll read what the question is. Objectively speaking, do you think this divine masculine collective struggles more uniquely with procrastinating than previous collectives for some reason, right? And and they say, don't get me wrong, I am patient and staying in my power, yet the divine is just and fair. And then I asked what previous collectives are, because I don't really know about that. And there was a twin flame coach who has actually analyzed the lengths of separation of pairs of times of the past, and separation of twin flames that united around the same time. So basically they noticed a slowing in reunions in a majority of their clients, despite them having the same advice as their successful ones. So this is not something that I know anything about. if they studied it, then they know what they're talking about. So I can't really comment on that because I don't know anything about previous collectives. But, in relation to the divine masculines themselves, about their procrastination, the message that's coming through from the angels is that this really kind of relates to that message that I did yesterday about, the divine feminine and the walking away from the things that no longer serve you, where you want to sort of get out of a situation, but you feel like there is still something holding you back. And things that seem to be sort of beyond your control, or if it's fear, then it's that fear that is sort of holding you back because you haven't quite reached where you're meant to be, or there are other things that are happening behind the scenes to help you to get to where you're truly meant to be. And obviously there's the when we look at it on the 3D level, it's like the divine masculines are procrastinating. They are not moving forward to tell the divine feminine how they feel. They are in fear and all these things. But there is that bigger picture with everything that is going on. That's the message. That's the only sort of like contribution I can give to this. That there is that bigger picture, and that bigger picture really sort of has to fit in with what's going on in our world right now. Our planet is ascending. I mentioned this yesterday as well, and we are all going through this time of ascension, and there are big things that are coming in. When we look at the world in a few years time, or I don't know, our children, so to speak, sort of look back at the world, it will be such a different place from the world as we see it right now. And even so far, in the last year with the whole pandemic thing, the world has already changed. So we are going through this time of big changes. But for twin flames to get into union, there is even more of a bigger thing about really working on yourself to release all the things that need to go. And the divine masculines have to really sort of shed the life that they've always known. They have to get rid of that programming that they've always had all their lives. And you, the divine feminine, are working on this. You are watching all these videos, you are understanding that you really have to change the way that you've seen the world, the way you were programmed as well, to see the world that everything comes from outside of you. Whereas for the divine masculines, this takes time, for them to understand this, because they're not sitting watching videos, for example, as we are doing here, learning all these things and sort of like really putting the stuff that they're learning into practice. Most of the divine masculines are really sort of really gripped by the 3D matrix way more than the divine feminines. The divine feminines are more open to actually, learning about changing their life and moving more into flow, even though the journey is really tough and they go through the tough time as well. But they are in this thing and this process of actually learning and changing their view of the world and growing within themselves. For the divine masculines, it does take longer, and they need to get to that place of shedding the life that they've always known, removing this programming. And if for the divine feminine itself, for the divine feminine yourself, it doesn't really just happen overnight. It takes time. A lot of us are on this journey. We've been on this journey for some time and we're still working on ourselves. So it does take time. That's the message that's coming through from the angels. It's not quite answering, the comparison, but it does take time for the divine masculines to get to that place of really sort of shedding all that programming that they've always had. And it is the programming that brings in those fears. It is that programming that stops them from moving forward. And until they get to that point of actually being able to release this, and then being able to see the world, or, to see themselves from a different perspective, then, it does take them that time to actually be able to move forward to their divine feminine, to work on, making the change in their life. But they are doing this. The energy is showing that the divine masculines are doing this. And, as for the time that it takes, again, the message coming through is it is all in divine timing. Every journey is different. And the angels are also saying there are quite a lot of people who are of divine masculines, who are communicating, who are sort of moving forward to their divine feminine. It's not something that you can really sort of compare within the different journeys. For people, it's like your journey, every single journey is different. We are all on the same journey, but every single journey is different. And what people signed up for their own particular journey in relation to the lessons that they need to learn, to the karma as well that comes in, because for some there's a lot of karma that needs to be cleared, and that's the divine feminine clearing karma on their side as well, on their sort of family sides as well, the divine masculine coming in clearing the karma on their sides of the family as well. And that can take a lot of time. That can take time. And it is not something that you can sort of just compare and say, oh, this divine masculine has done this quicker and that one hasn't. Because the angels, the message that I am getting is that every single journey is different. And the things that the people, the divine masculines and the divine feminines have to go through on their own journey, the lessons they have to learn, their soul lessons, the karma that they have to clear, and it's not just karma for their family or bloodlines. There is also karma from past lives, and whatever karma they need to clear for them to actually be able to move forward. So there's a lot of things that come in to the whole sort of picture of this whole twin flame journey. This is why, even in the video that I did yesterday, there was the sort of message coming through from the angels about the fact that you may be stagnant in your situation, whatever 3D situation you may be as a divine feminine. You may be feeling that you are stagnant, things are not moving forward, but that's because your divine masculine has certain things that they need to do in their own life whilst they are still by themselves. They need to clear their own karma. For example, this is just an example, they need to clear all that karma by themselves first before they can be able to come forward to be with you. So, yes, the divine masculines may be procrastinating, but there is a bigger picture to all that procrastination. That's the message that I'm getting from the angels, that there is a bigger picture to all that procrastination, because they need to release all those fears and they need to shed that lifestyle or that they've always known, the programming and the conditioning, and that is all part of their lessons. The things that they need to do for themselves, that is all part of the lessons that they need to learn. For example, a divine masculine who may be in this place of being afraid to move forward towards their divine feminine, to tell their divine feminine how they feel, that is a lesson that they need to learn for themselves, and they need to actually learn this lesson by themselves. And it might take them a lot of time to actually realize that this is a lesson, that they need to learn. So it is all sort of in divine timing, and and obviously there is that free will that comes in as to how much they really get into actually working on themselves as well. But the message that keeps coming through, and we are seeing this a lot in the cards, the divine masculines are working on releasing the things that no longer serve them. It may seem like it's taking time, but they are doing what they need to do. And if you are moving forward, if you're growing as a divine feminine, then your divine masculine is doing the same as well. They will be behind. They will take the time that it needs to take, but they are moving forward on their path towards you, their divine feminine. So, it is about just trusting in divine timing, because there's nothing that we can sort of try and do apart from trusting that they are going to get there when the time is right, and you never know, miracles and magic. That's the message that we keep hearing. Your divine masculine might turn around tomorrow and it just clicks in their mind. They're opening themselves up to listening to their hearts more. That means, they might just have a sudden sort of realization, and, they rush forward to their divine feminine. But there is also that bigger picture as well. This is the other message that's coming through, the bigger picture of that golden age that we're moving into, which means that there is that need for the sort of stripping away for the divine feminines and for the divine masculines of this life that you've always known. And that takes time. And the divine feminines are actually still doing this as well, even as they go along on their journey. So that's the sort of message that's coming in relation to that. But except, trust in divine timing. It will all come in at the right time, and every journey is different. And, it is not about comparing that, it has happened for this person and that divine masculine is taking their time, or it is just about trusting that it is all happening as it is meant to. And there is the time, there are a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes, and your divine masculine will probably be actually way ahead than you actually realize as a divine feminine. But it all comes in the right divine timing. So that's the quick message